In today's video, I show you Flatline City's second wave from Saucerman Studios. But before we get into today's video, I just want to share with you that Yarrow Studios was kind enough to send this battle map book to be one of the GGGGs for this month. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts, and for this month of March of 2022, this Sci-Fi battle map book from Yarrow Studios is one of them. These beautifully colored battle maps are in this hardcover book, high quality and sturdy sheets, and there is a ton of map options that are in here. This is great for games like Starfinder, and Yarrow Studios also has D&D versions or fantasy versions that would be perfect for D&D, RPGs, and other potential skirmish games that you want to be able to pull up a quick battle map. Also, if you use my coupon link below, then you can get 20% off any of their items. They have planescapes, they have dungeons, they have frozen wastes. They also have all of these available in a digital file if you use a digital map like I do. So go ahead and use the link below if you are interested in checking out more of Yarrow Studios. And thank you so much to them for providing this book as one of the GGGGs. Also for this month, we do have an all-in pledge for this second wave Kickstarter from Saucerman Studios. We have 2 all-in pledges for League of Dungeoneers, a current Kickstarter. We have a printed and painted Aztec dice tower from Mythic Roll. And we have $100 going towards a crowdfunder, which all of the Patreon supporters will be voting upon. Go ahead and use my link to go to my Patreon page if you are interested in finding out more information. I have done a couple of review videos for Saucerman Studios Kickstarters, and this is their third one, but actually their second in their Flatline City line. And if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check it out here, because in that video I have a painting tutorial that shows you how I painted up all of these models very quickly. And over here I have models from that first Kickstarter, and this set will be available for an add-on purchase in the current Kickstarter, so make sure you jump in on that if you haven't gotten this initial set. This initial set has so many files, it is totally worth it. It has tons and tons of variety in it, so I suggest go ahead and check out my original video if you want to see some of the pieces. But I brought it out here so that you can see a comparison between what is going to be new with this second wave Kickstarter, and what they've done is they varied up the shapes and sizes of the buildings. So the standard size building here made it so that you could connect all of them together, and I really appreciated that actually, and I think it's somewhat the perfect size to be able to build out your board for your sci-fi games. But as you can see over here, these buildings are also much bigger and different shape than just the standard rectangular blocks. So you have this cross-shaped building that's right here in the front. I think it looks really nice and provides a pretty broad platform, which is what I appreciate, since one of the things that Flatline City provides, because of the Gantry system and because of the stacking buildings, that you have a lot of height variability, which is fantastic for games like Necromunda, but also Starbreach, Stargrave, and I really like having height variability on my tabletop. And then over here we have the Watchtower. I really like this piece a lot. It has a lot of character and adds a lot to the tabletop. And you can also change things up with this by pulling off the top, and they do provide a flat piece that goes right over the top of it like this. And that enables you to have a really, again, a big platform. You can actually land ships on top of here if you want to do that as well. So I really like the fact that they made some of these buildings larger. And then this observatory with the circular buildings also is really cool. I have this stacked up pretty high, and I think this is really neat. And I just want to highlight here the gantry system, because one of the things, again, I mentioned before is that I love multi-level, multi-tier opportunities for models to jump around and run around. And the gantry system expansion that they have with the second wave actually makes it bigger, provides a ramp, and just creates more surface area for your models to be running around all over the board. So I really like that a lot. I did like the original gantry system, but these pieces are actually larger, and so you're not fiddling around putting a bunch of pieces together. You're actually able to create these multi-tier levels much more quickly. And I did not print out their hexagon buildings, but that also is an option. I did print out the base here as well as the rooftop, so that, again, you can see what it looks like as part of the gantry. But that provides, I think, a lot of variability with the size and shapes of your buildings to make it a little bit more different than all of the rectangular ones that came with the first wave. And not only did they create these larger buildings, but they also created the smaller ones as well. And so these pieces are half the size of the original rectangular buildings that are shown here. And they also provide connections so that you can connect to these pipes. I really like the amount of choices that you might have and how differently decorated it is to just create, again, an awesome board for your sci-fi games. Finally, I want to point out that they do have these columns with a bunch of pieces so that you can vary up some scatter terrain that's on your board, which I think looks super cool as well. Here is another piece. Not only can you use this just for some scatter terrain, but you can actually attach some of these pieces on the side of your buildings as well. Again, creating variability, or on top of your buildings like so that it is creating, again, a lot of different options. So that's one of the things that I really like about this set as well as the original. It is open lock, which is proprietary, and so you can attach and mix and match all of the pieces, but also bring in maybe some other pieces that you have from other sets and other manufacturers in order to be able to provide a lot of flexibility. Overall, super happy with this set. I have really liked what Saucerman Studios has produced. I think it is really high quality. Again, there's going to be a bunch of signs, and if you haven't seen my original video, you can make and create your own signs, just like I did here with Gaming Geek right here on this sign. So make sure you check out my original video about that. Let's go ahead and go over to the computer, and I can walk you through the Kickstarter campaign. All right, so here is the Kickstarter page for the second wave, and this project will end on March 31st. And there's only two pledges. One is the base pledge of $58, which is a really good deal, and then the merchant commercial license for $270. But most of us will be doing this pledge right here, and you can watch the videos if you want. But this is a good representation of all of the variety that you're going to get with this Kickstarter. And it just shows how much density you can get and height variability with this set here. I did print all of mine at 0.2 millimeter height with 5% infill. There is no supports that are required, and all of the prints printed without any failures. Here are the different shapes. So this was the original from the first Kickstarter, and as you can see, most of them are larger than the original. I didn't show you the L shape. I didn't print any of those out, but then here's the half shape as well. And this is the core set. All of these buildings and sections is what you're going to be able to get. The variety in the rooftop sections as well as the accessory rings. And the accessory rings is what you're using in order to connect the gantry, as well as any signs or greeblies that you want to put on the outside of your buildings. I think it's an ingenious system, provides maximum flexibility without being a huge hassle in adding those things on there. And then definitely, if you did not get the previous Flatline City, I would highly suggest it. They don't have a price here. I'm guessing it's going to be about $60. Again, that is still a really, really good deal because you're getting massive number of files. You can also check into their previous other two Kickstarters, The Lost Colony. I made a video. If you want to check that out, go ahead and click up here on the right. And then they did have another Ortis set as well if you wanted more buildings for your terrain. There is a free model, the shipping container, if you want to download that and just to test the print. And here are more pictures. And thus far, early on in the campaign, these are some of the stretch goals that have been opened up. Here are the standard size buildings. You're going to have more variability there. And then they are coming out with a different kind of pipe than the ones that was in the first Kickstarter. So again, providing more variability and then difference in size. This is a smaller tube that is going to be available. There's the watchtower. Also, there are some vehicles. In the first Kickstarter, there were a bunch of vehicles that were unlocked. I haven't printed any of those out because I don't necessarily need vehicles, but those are available as well. And this is what I'm really excited about, the Gantry extensions that just creates more levels. Here are some billboards. There's going to be an elevator. Here are some slum tents. This is super cool. I'm definitely going to be printing this out, the rocket launch facility. This rocket ship actually looks a little bit like the Rocinante from Expanse on Amazon Prime. And then these are the pylon array towers, and this is what I told you about, that there's a lot of variability, that you can mix and match all of these different columns and sections in order to create really differentiated towers. This is a pipe manifold system which is expanding on the original pipes, and I think it just, again, creates a lot of variety, adding to the already dizzying array and options of the pipes. This was a battle precinct, the cross-shaped building. They're providing more bases for miniatures if you're interested in that. Here is a hexagonal fighting pit that is a unique set. And again, just a bunch of accessories, greeblies, overhangs, platforms that you can add to your buildings. This is going to be a dispensary. Again, more scatter terrain, smaller pieces. They're also going to be providing some broken walkways, if you're interested in that. Here are some market stalls, which is really cool as well. And then this is really interesting. It is a road and bridgeway. Again, to be able to provide more platforms if you want that. Here's a whole set. I didn't print out any of these container buildings from the original Kickstarter, but again, it is expanding on that set as well. So you, again, have a lot of variability there. More signs. So I love that in the original Kickstarter, they had tons of signs, but they're adding even more, which is awesome. This waste treatment plant looks super cool. I'm definitely going to be printing this out as well. That looks really neat. And just technical info down here. So there you have it. I think this is an awesome Kickstarter. You're getting a huge amount of files, not only from the original one. If you haven't backed that yet, I highly suggest getting the first wave, but also this second wave gives you tons more variability. And as you can see, with this much terrain, I'm easily able to fill up my 4-foot by 4-foot gaming table for really dense terrain. Please hit the like button and subscribe. And again, go ahead and check out the link to Yarrow Studios if you're interested in their battle maps, as well as my Patreon page to check out the rest of the GGGGs for this month. Happy printing, happy gaming. We'll see you next time.